I hope you don't have a class now.
No, sir.
Ah, no, I think you're locked. I think.
Sir, can you hear?
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, we can. I can hear you. All good.
Oh.
Okay. I think her video is locked, right? Sitandi. Yes. Something. Something got stuck. Anyway, okay. So last week we ended up at the point where we talked about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? And we talked about how I showed you a video of
Good.
how the security, yes, how the Google security works, and how this whole structure and the system works in when it comes to large scale cloud applications. So the cloud is, yeah. Hi Ritamdir, yeah. Now we got connected. Yeah, yeah. Super. So, the previous class video is uploaded in YouTube. Sorry, there was a small delay on that because of these power cuts and all. So now got it sorted out, and you can watch the previous video. So we discussed about cloud systems up to a certain extent. So I'll share the link on the chat as well, so that you all can go through it. So perfect. So we briefly discussed what is the cloud last week, and so based on that details, now we can actually look at some real world examples why we use it. So Kemit, what we saw last week was basically the hardware part. That is how the cloud is. Let's say that is how the cloud is created. Okay, so
Yes.
what we are learning is kind of something different, because these are like services. These are technically like softwares which we use on top of the cloud, or which we use to build on top of the cloud. Okay, so there are like couple of softwares. So primarily we have Google Workspace, we have Microsoft Office, the new Office 365, where they basically allow you to use a certain set of applications. So word processing, spreadsheets, presentations, video conferencing, online forms, surveys, and online document storage, as well as emails and calendars. Okay, so you might get questions asking what are the day-to-day usages, or what type of things you get out of the cloud. So if that's the case, then we can actually write this down. So either you can write it down, or Siddhamdi, do you have the book as well?
No, sir. In our school bookshop, it's out of stock, and everywhere it's out of stock.
Yes, I know. But you have the soft copy, right?
Still no, sir.
Soft copy and the hold on. Okay, let me send it to you. Give me 1 second. Okay, I just yeah.
Sir, but doing a computer in Action server.
You're doing what you're doing is computer.
In Action server.
No, sorry, I didn't get you. So you mean the book or the?
Yes, sir. Book's name.
Not the Inspire Computing, is it?
No, sir.
Okay. Is it something similar to this? So
Still, I don't know, sir, because I don't have the book yet.
so okay. So what are you doing at school? So you are just going through the like. Do they show you a book and then do it, or?
No, sir, this month, in the middle of this month, I joined.
Okay.
These days, we are doing bar charts.
Bar charts. Okay, so that is part of Excel. Okay, okay. So just let me know. So I'm actually following the official Edexcel book, which is known as the Pearson Edexcel Inspire Computing Grade 7. So that's the official book, which is most of the schools, most of the schools are actually following that book. So that's the reason I'm going through it. So let's see how it goes. So you can do a comparison and see whether we align together. But I think first of all you need to find your book. Otherwise, without the book, you can't do anything. No? So perfect. Let's see. Okay. So but so far, what we have done through the lectures, everything is on YouTube. You can see those videos and you can work on this. Perfect. So Kemith, please do highlight these points because these are some important points which is up to, like, you get questions about something like this. You get questions asking in the real world usage, how cloud computing will help us, or what are the features of cloud computing which we will use in the real world, something like that. So then obviously you can talk about these points where it will get to basically select it and see. Okay, so give me 1 second.
Sir, should we highlight the word processing and those things?
Yes, correct. Yes, yeah. I'll give you 1 second. Okay. Shall I jump to the next one?
Okay, sir.
Okay, perfect. So, what do we get in the cloud? So, technically, using the cloud, there are few features you basically get. Okay. So, first of all, when it comes to the cloud, as this says, like using the cloud-based systems, there are like few points you have to follow. So there are a couple of guidelines. Okay. Now this is something which we will be talking at multiple locations throughout your education journey of Edexcel, because when it comes to online systems and online communities, uh, there are points you need to keep in mind. So I hope you remember that video where by taking a single picture of a baby, they create an entire uh, future for her, right? Which I showed you long time back. So based on this, so there are, like, primarily respectful to other users, so that has to be there, as well as you don't share private information, as well as these are simple points where we talk about, like, sharing folders and sharing details. So anything which does not apply to, sorry, which doesn't belongs to you, it should not be shared in the cloud. As example, as I told you about this last week, about this peer-to-peer sharing system. So we used to share music and all, but technically that is illegal. So now, in real world examples, so many businesses and organizations, they basically use cloud now. So the primary cloud option they use is we use softwares, we use email, we use documents, and payment systems, accounting. All of these are basically hosted in the cloud. This Chromebooks, Google came up with this miniature computers called Chromebook. So usually,
Yeah, sir told that about that. The Chromebook of everything itself.
exactly. So now the fun part with the cloud is you don't need to have, like, heavy high-end processing systems, because all the servers are already there. So all you need to do is you just need to have a PC which can process something very simple, and that's enough. So it's cheap as well. So back then, when you want to get something done, like, let's say, when you need to do a Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you actually had the requirement to have a good PC, because like a normal typical PC did not had the capacity to do it. So now other way around, nowadays it's totally different. So now you don't need a big PC. You can just use something like a small microcontroller, micro mini PC, and access it. Even technically, if it works, if you have a smart TV, on the smart TV you can actually plug in a keyboard and a mouse and type a letter using Word Excel. That also works. Okay. So because of that reason, now it reduced the requirement of high-end hardware. So now we don't need to spend for hardware, and we don't need to buy new hardware because we can use what is already available. Okay, so there are a few further investigations which you can do where you can actually think about what type of softwares web applications have their like restrictions, different age restrictions, why this might be the case, okay, as well as different like search for different cloud applications where you can actually use it to get things done. So before we jump into this, I'll tell you one more thing. When it comes to the cloud, there are three definitions. Sorry, maybe this is out of your syllabus again, but I'm just telling you because it's better to know those keywords. Okay, so there are three specific keywords. One is known as IaaS. IaaS. Okay, so and the second one is known as PaaS. Okay, and the third one is known as SaaS, which is SaaS. Okay, so this is a common name which is being practiced within the industry, where a PaaS is a platform as a service. Okay, a platform as a service. Now, if you take YouTube, what is it? YouTube, is it that's a platform, right? So you get a video platform and you use it as a service. So either you can use it to watch a video, or you can actually upload videos and you can use that platform. And then we have software as a service, which is known as SaaS. So software as a service means all these softwares which we are using. So example is Zoom is a software as a service. Zoom is a software. We use it as a service. We pay something. We have purchased a subscription, and from that subscription we use it as a service. Got the idea? And then we have the IaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service. Okay. Can you guys guess what is infrastructure?
The internal structure.
Not technically the internal structure, but infrastructure. Infrastructure means servers, right? Servers and computers. So when you get when we call it as IaaS, infrastructure as a service, that means basically like, let's say if you want to host an application, or let's say you want to build something like YouTube, then you need a server, no? You need servers to run it, no? So you get the servers as a service. Got the idea? Then you can't basically buy a server, no? The points you saw in that video, technically speaking, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
ගෙදර හදන්න බෑනේ එක. Right? So ඒකට කරන්න the easiest option is you buy the server. So you basically go to Google, you buy a specific server part from their servers and you use it. So when you do that, that is known as infrastructure as a service.
So, sir, it's our online protection to keep it protected, right?
When you buy the infrastructure as a service, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's like this. So the hardware is already protected. They have their fences and all these things that are there. But the server protection part, you have to take it
That's
take
what
it
I was
here.
saying.
Definitely. So, like to install softwares, to check if the software is up to date, whether there is any viruses, whether there are any people who trying to hack your system, all those things has to be managed by you. ඒක තමයි we have platforms සුයි softwares සුයි. So when you use software as a service, let's say you use Zoom, you don't have to worry about anything, you just use it. Right? You just use it and then it works. Simple as that. Okay? Super. So just keep that in mind. I just explained something extra, but that's how this whole cloud thing is designed. Okay, perfect. Then we jump into a newsletter, researching a newsletter. Okay, so Siddhamdi, just to give you a brief idea about what happened so far. So this particular book starts by creating a presentation. So we actually created a presentation. If you so we went through it. We built one presentation. We talked about how to gather data for this presentation. At the same time, while we were doing this, we talked about different factors when it comes to business engineering and so on and so forth. Okay. So now here again, we are jumping again a little bit back to that area where we talk about researching part. Okay, so this is basically researching for a newsletter. Okay, now first of all, I'll teach you guys need to understand why you're learning this source. Right? So research is a fundamental point when it comes to academics. Okay, so you need to learn how to research. What is research? What do you mean by research?
Searching about a specific point.
Okay, good. Yeah. Sithundi, what do you think?
Searching about various things.
Searching about various things? Not exactly. Yes, what Kemit said was partially correct. Okay, so research means you have primarily you have two different types of researches where you basically research for something new which you don't know. Okay, let's say now if you don't research for a topic where you try to find how many legs does a dog have. Right? We all know that a dog has 4 legs. Right? There is no such thing, or you don't have to research for that. But let's say you get something like okay. Let's say you see a caterpillar. Caterpillars has like I don't know how many legs they have, but they have lot of legs. Then that can be research. Because you'll have to take a picture, you'll have to find that particular caterpillar's whatever the type, the breed, and so on and so forth, and then you'll have to find that information, right? If someone, ideally, somebody might have mentioned it. Okay, so that is one type of research. The other type of research is you research for the unknown. So you research for something which have not yet been found or not yet been determined or like introduced by someone else. Example is you look at the stars and you try to find different stars which no one has ever seen. Right? Otherwise, you try out applications like different what do you call it? Not applications, medication. So you try out different types of medication by applying existing medications and different types of diseases together to find a new medication to a disease. Right? So those two are the primary types of research. So for you guys, we need to learn how to find information. Okay? So primarily, information can be found when it comes to these type of newsletters. So we'll learn about what is a newsletter. Okay, so in this case, a newsletter is a published document that contains relevant information for a specific target audience. Okay, So you have to either write this down or you have to highlight this. So the idea is a newsletter is a published document that contains relevant information for a specific target audience. I hope it's clear. Specific target audience. Can we highlight it and keep up? Because these are the keywords.
Sir, I highlighted when sir was reading that.
Okay. Nice, perfect. Okay. Siddhum, since I send you the book on WhatsApp, it's not perfect, but you can actually take a print. By the way, where do you live?
In Matara.
Matara. Okay, you'll have to find a you'll have to find a place to print it, because if you live around Colombo, there are places near the Colombo Javardhanpura University. So they actually print. They print very, like, the cost is very low. You can actually get the whole book printed for about, I think, about 1,500 or maximum 2,000 rupees. Okay, so obviously Mathura, there will be places where you can get it printed. Okay, because if you get it printed, then you can actually use this as a reference. Super. So newsletters. So the audience of the newsletter can be some sort of a specific set of people who you will be focusing to share this information with. Okay, so ideally, let's say if it is so now newsletters. Okay, you guys might have seen this, right? When you go to a website, you get this pop-up asking, "Do you want to subscribe to our newsletter?" Have you seen it?
Sir, not like that, sir, but they are like coming up with like this is with an ad or something.
Most of the time, they do show you advertisements, and sometimes they say get 20% off if you give your email address. So get 10% off if you subscribe to the newsletter. Okay, they do that type of things. So now, why do they do it? Think. Why is the reason?
So, sir, when they get more subscriptions, Google is like being famous for like not like that. That means like Google will be and other people will be more keen in Google to get their ad in that.
Yes, correct. Okay, it's correct. It's you just came halfway there. ತಾವು ಚುಟ್ಟತ್ತೀರಾ? Okay, now example is, now if I go to a, let's say, a game, a remote control car website, like this small hobby cars. Okay, and then in that hobby car website, if I subscribe to the newsletter, then technically speaking, I am a potential customer, right? So if I subscribe to the newsletter, then that means they can safely assume that I am a potential customer which has some sort of an interest in one of their products. Right? That's how they basically create the audience. So when I register, automatically they can schedule they can put me into a specific group and say, okay, this guy liked this particular thing, so because of that reason, Maru, let's highlight him and get him to do this. Something like that. Okay, super. So when it comes to the newsletter, usually there are few points which has to be there. So a title and a brief description of the newsletter must be available, and articles and images that are relevant and interesting to the audience, that also must be clearly there, as well as it can be something like important dates or events let's say mm, if we are getting a specific event on a specific day, then it can be all these different types of emails with that information, right? Okay, today I think, okay, so you guys, Sitamdi, do you have an email address?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Do you receive these promotional emails?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Today, didn't you get any promotional emails? No, not really.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I actually got bombarded with emails today, like all these Valentine's Day offers, dinners, hotels, and like different types of gifts and flowers and all these things. Okay, so that's the whole idea behind newsletters. So sorry. So when they get your details, then they can easily send a message and try to capture the audience. Okay. So now for newsletters, there are few options which you can use. So there are some cloud applications as well, which we discussed before, as well as you can use something like a word processing software to create newsletters, or presentation softwares, or you can actually use something like a web designing tool to create newsletters as well. Okay, so any of these options will basically serve the purpose. So now we talked about the newsletter and why we need it and how we create it. But now we need to talk about the content research. So this is where the content researching part, like how you are going to find the content part, gets into action. Okay, so primarily there are few steps which is being given by the book itself. So when it comes to the researching, so there are few ways to do this. So you can actually, now when it comes to the topic, yes, the topic has to be primarily researched, right? So let's say since it's Valentine's Day today, the topic can be Valentine's Day, right? Then let's say there are some offers going on. Let's say um, a, a flower discount for a flower bouquet. Okay, then the topic would be Valentine's Day offer, and get this flower bouquet 50% off. Okay, something like that. And then you have to choose a theme and a layout. So layout to make sure the content will reflect your topic. Okay, so what do you think for Valentine's Day, if we create a newsletter, what type of a theme would you use?
A theme like with like little hearts.
Little hearts, and what would be the color be? It would be
Pink.
mainly pink or red, right? Exactly. And then if you use something like so since we are trying to give a discount for a flower bouquet, then obviously we will have some pictures of that flowers as well, right? Flowers and the flower bouquets and all those uh, all those points to show off what we are trying to say. So that's how you select the topic. Then um, basically,
Excuse me, sir.
yes. Hi.
Sir,
What?
I went out from the class for like 5 minutes, sir, because of my internet didn't connect it, sir.
Okay.
So what was you doing in which
Yeah, no problem. So what I was talking, what I went through was how to come up with the content. We quickly went through the point where we talked about the software, what type of software to be used when you're creating a newsletter. So there are a couple of common platforms, like let's say you can use um, Google Docs or Microsoft Word to basically create something, or you can create a presentation by using Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint, or you can actually create a web design web design using something called SharePoint or Google Drive tools. Okay, so just remember the keywords. We don't need to go in depth into this. So this Microsoft SharePoint is also Microsoft SharePoint is how can I put this in simple
So
terms?
sometimes our past papers are in those Microsoft SharePoints.
You have seen that. Perfect. Yes. Okay. So Microsoft SharePoint is actually something like a platform as a service, right? And that platform as a service that actually gives you a certain set of features where you can actually store content, you can create pages, folders, and so on and so forth. So it's similar to Google Drive, but it is tightly connected with Microsoft. So you can build Microsoft-based applications.
Okay, sir.
The
So
SharePoint.
that is the told about that if you do Python or something from Visual Studio Code, these days you would get ChatGPT with it. So
Yeah.
I just tried it again and it was true, sir.
Why?
It was
What was true? What happened?
I went to do Python in
Okay.
there, and so it was like in a box. It's showing like if you need this, you could put these
Yes.
codes.
Yes. Yes. Obviously, yes. Yeah. Yes. You can actually use these tools to learn a lot, because as I told you back as well. So, like while we were learning programming, it took us a long time to learn because we had to go through books, Google search, and so on and so forth. But now for you guys, it's just one one straight. You just go search and learn. That's it. So that's
Yes.
good. That's good. And you guys can actually go much further than us. Like I mean, when you reach my age, and if you go through, if you take your sorry, if you take a computer career, then when you reach my age, you would be like about 10-15 steps ahead of me from where I'm standing at right now, because y'all started very early now with all the details. That's the thing.
Yes.
So that's good, though. Use it in a good way.
Mm.
Okay, so then what we talked was about the content research. So how to research the content. So when you're creating the newsletter, as I took as the example, and Sitindi answered about it, because what I took as the example of, since it's the Valentine's Day today, so everybody is basically creating this campaigns and trying to give offers and so on and so forth. So if we create a newsletter for, let's say, a flower discount for a flower bouquet, then obviously there are a few factors we need to follow up, right? So primarily we just need to make sure the topic of the website, topic of the newsletter is clear. It's clearly mentioned. Then you can choose a template and the layout to reflect the topic, right? So if it is Valentine's, we need to go with something like a pink and red color theme, plus with some hearts, obviously, and you can get the you can get the Cupid as well, that small angel, plus what you're planning to sell. So since you're planning to sell a flower, sorry, planning to sell flowers, then obviously flower bouquets has to be displayed, right? Likewise, you can come up with that type of a layout. And then,
Are we doing any practicals for like a newsletter, sir? By making a newsletter?
not really, not during the class, but I was going to give you guys some homework to create a newsletter. So yeah, so you can use any sort of a tool, like let's say we do have that yeah, so we don't have an activity, but you can use any sort of a tool, and you can create a sample newsletter. It's basically something which you have to do your own research, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I'll put the details. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry. I'll send the details on the chat. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, so the content research, as well as now there's a part of this is actually a part of the content research where you have to think about or find existing newsletters as well for this particular topic, so that it will be easy for you to get some information out. Example is now what we do in the industry is, what my company does is, we basically we use something like Canva, or we search on Google to find out existing templates or existing newsletters for that particular category. Let's say if it is Valentine's, we look for all the newsletters which has Valentine's details in it. So then what we do is we take those details, and then we use or take out information from that newsletters, and then you can basically think about where you are going to put the content and where you are going to get the information. So there's another point which is not mentioned here. Now, when it comes to the industry, we do it in a different way, where we actually now, let's say, we keep on sending newsletters. No? So usually we send a couple of newsletters a week. Now, what we do is, if it is for the same customer, let's say Kemit has a flower shop, okay, and let's say we have done 5 to 6 emails trying to advertise your flowers, then we can get a full in detail view of all the results. How many people have clicked on it, how many people have opened it, and so on and so forth. So newsletters, you actually get that detail. How many emails have not been delivered, and how many emails have been opened, and so on and so forth. So once we get that data set, it's quite straightforward, because we know the data. Then we can find out which one worked and which did not. You got the idea? So if you have sent like 5 newsletters, then we can find out which 5 newsletters, which one of it worked, and then we can find out why it worked. Let's say if we had a big design and people liked it and people clicked on it, then we can assume that okay, this design worked. Then we can copy that design. Likewise. So it's a big comparison thing. Okay. So I think Kemit might have noticed on YouTube. We talked about this sometime back. This YouTube thumbnails. Why we create thumbnails?
Thumbnails means like
YouTube.
what?
YouTube has thumbnails in it, no? Like when you go to YouTube, you get these thumbnails of the videos, no? Video thumbnail, the like the set of images on the video.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So when you go through, so that has a big impact on whether you click on it or not. Example is like, let's say if you take Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast does that in a very, very particular way. He always gives some sort of a, let's say, some sort of a like special thing for the user, so that they tend to click on it. So they feel that okay, it's something new. I want to check this out. So like.
Oh yes, he shows something like, I have this car, but at
Yes.
the end it's
At
not
the
that.
end, it's not there. Or he will say, I'm going to live inside some place, and then that place is blurred out. So that means people will obviously click on it to find out whether what happened to this guy. That's the same thing. That's the same approach when it comes to content research as well. We have to research and see which type of content actually worked or works.
So sir, by that thumbnail thing, like Mr. Beast is seeing whether these people had watched my videos or these people have not watched my videos,
Correct.
like that.
Yes, yes. In the video backend, in the uh, YouTube video backend, you have the option. So again, this is outside our syllabus, but since we are talking about it, there's something called A and B testing. A/B testing. Okay. So how it works is we use two options and we put both the options out and find out which one worked. Again, simple like let's say if I bake a cake and I'm going to make two cakes and I'm going to give one piece to Situndi and one piece to Kemit, and then I ask which piece you like the most. So I get your details, and after that, after some time, then I'm going to switch it back again, and I'm going to give Kemit the piece from the other cake and the piece from the other cake. Then I again ask you or check whether you liked it or not. So depending on that, I select which cake is the best. So I mean, in this case, I took the example with only two of you, but when you set this in Google YouTube, it will show these two different thumbnails to about 1,000 users and find out which one worked. And
So
yeah.
the working content is given to that one.
Yes, and then we get a message saying, okay, your thumbnail one received, let's say, 100 clicks. Thumbnail 2 received 2 clicks. Then obviously we can select thumbnail 1 as the optimal or the default thumbnail.
Sir, no, like I didn't get any thumbnail thing.
I think we talked about Mr. Beast about like I can't remember. I think we talked about Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast having these weird images.
Yeah, so he's like making sort of like something that is like once he makes sort of I'm gonna sit in a nuke shelter.
Yes, exactly.
Like he was like that I'm gonna sit, and at last in the middle it shows that two people are gonna sit.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Likewise, depending on the video, sometimes the thumbnail and the video title is something totally different. Once you start watching the video only, you get to know that there's something different in it. Right? That's how they market. Okay.
So even Mr. Beast used like supercomputers to process his videos.
Yes. I think he's the largest YouTuber, like the most popular YouTuber in the world. So obviously, yes, yeah. Recently, I think I saw.
He showed his warehouse that nobody had been seen.
No, what I was going to say was like there was a video released a couple of days ago. I can't remember exactly when, but when I saw that video, it was just released about it was released 3 days ago or so, and at that point it had 96 million views.
At the moment it was released.
Yeah, after about 3 days of releasing it, 96 million views.
Yeah, so it's even the same when we like in the Telegram group. So I'm in the Mr. Beast fan channel in the Telegram group, and they drop it. The easy thing is they drop it 2 days before that. They drop the video 2 days before the YouTube.
Okay.
So we can be updated with that. And in school,
Got it.
I'm like, tomorrow this video is coming with this content, and I'm like the future stuff news. Mr. Beast.
Okay. So they basically give a teaser. So they give a teaser and then they let you watch it. Hade. So that's again one of their marketing gimmicks, ne? So the people a way to see the video, no? So they build the community to go and watch it. Okay, so I know this is a bit boring content, but let's go through it anyway. So now here we have the good practice and yeah, good practice on how to get the content. So obviously, writing your own original text is a must. You can, if you want, you can. But the thing is, writing the original text would be the best thing because it has to reflect what you are going to sell or market. Okay, let's say if I have a fast food chain and if Kemith is making a newsletter for me, you can't just go and copy something from McDonald's or KFC and put it into my fast food chain. Sometimes it will work, but most of the time I don't think so. So that's how that relationship works. So in the other way around, so yeah, so that's one point. And then you might be able to, you may use online resources for different types of references. That is obviously possible, but you should not directly use anything from other people's work. So this is what we learned last week about the privacy and the privacy policies and the legal points behind this. Okay. So even if you steal something, nobody will directly come and catch you. That's a different story. But then again, there can be points where you might get blocked. Okay. And then original graphics and videos, obviously, if it is possible. And if you use online sources, you just need to be careful about the copyright laws, as we discussed last week. So there are multiple different types of copyright laws where even if you try to send something publicly, that can be affected. You can't just copy an image from Google and send it on a newsletter. That's not going to work out because then you're technically similar to you're selling that image. So that's the point. And then the third point is to give the credit. So this is what I showed you with Unsplash. With Unsplash. So Unsplash basically shows you how to give the credit. So even if you steal an image, that's okay. You can just still give the credit and still use it. No problem. Nobody will put a lawsuit on you, right? Okay. So then, then small point about crediting online sources. So if you use content from the internet to basically put on your work, then obviously original creators details has to be there. So for images, you can include the name and image library with the photographer, like as we have on Unsplash, as well as if it is an article or something, an extract which we took from a book or a website, then obviously that has to be credited because you're sharing that information publicly. And then at the same time, for websites you will have to put the website address. And you will have to basically mention where you get these details to. So this, guys, gets applied to all the type of research. Okay. So now example is now. So this is basically online crediting. Now in my doctorate, I am in my doctorate thesis also. If I take something from a website, I must citate it. We call it as.
Sir, do you have a doctorate?
I am currently reading a doctorate. So reading means I am doing a doctorate. It will be
Wow.
it will be done in another 2 years to 2027.
However, it's super, sir.
But the doctor means this is not a PhD. Yeah? This is a DBA. DBA means doctor in business administration. Not so PhD means doctorate in philosophy. So that is for science subjects. But what I am doing is doctorate in business administration. So still doctor කෑල්ල හම්බ වෙනවා කොහොමත්. I'll be anyway end of the day doctor. But the thing is, my specialization is business and education.
Oh, that's
That's right, not the typical science side. So now even in that documentation, wherever if I take some information out, I must credit the sources. I must show it. So in those documents, we call it citations. We call it citations where we citate or where we mention where we got that information. Okay, so you guys also, if you are planning to do something like this, you have to make sure that the details are properly saved. Okay, perfect. Okay, then yeah, so from you can do some further reading. You can actually find some newsletters, and I think you guys already receive newsletters a lot, right? If you have email addresses, you tend to receive newsletters, and that's how
Yeah,
it's.
I have like sort of. I don't receive any newsletters because I am only registered to Mark Roberts those website, and
Sites,
only I
okay.
get the newsletters from him. But I did give my email address for like normally for other websites
Okay.
because like they like hack me if the website is hacked
Yeah.
like that. That's why
Yeah.
I'm not giving.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That is, of course, something which is which has to be thoroughly followed. Okay, so give me 1 second. So now, since Situndi is not exactly following this book, Kevin, did you guys did go through the group project at school?
Yeah, sir. Sir, can you do like this, sir? Sir, if sir can only, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you go with the thing that our school is doing just right now?
Yeah, because now the planning of the group project is actually something which you are not going to get questions in the exam paper. This is something different. So there will be few points which is going to which you will get some questions here and there, but primarily no. So that's why what I thought was to skip this part and directly
Sir,
jump
we
to the
did it
next.
in school.
Yeah, but did you guys actually did the planning? Did the like created a book?
No, sir. We just started writing our book like yesterday or something. Until now, we did practicals and those things.
Okay, what type of practicals you did?
Sir, we are making those presentations
Okay, that is.
and making newsletters
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes Excel Word. We have to do like those charts and those things, sir.
Okay.
And other all practicals, like in another after like one lesson, sir. We are starting programming, sir. That's why, sir, I told like, shall we go like in the
Okay.
place
Okay.
where the school is going?
Yeah.
Because then, sir, it's easy for us.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yes, yes, obviously, yes. Yeah, so I am actually going to jump through few lessons. So these are all related to the documentation part where you will be basically creating this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a speed run. I will just quickly explain what this is, and then we can jump to the next one. Okay. So yeah, we'll do a speed run, like a very fast speed run. You know Sonic, ne? Sonic again. Try to do that. Okay. So now, yeah. So here we have a group project which is obviously has to be done in the school as a group. Okay. So in this group project, there are few. So this is a cloud based project, which is like ideally which you can work with or collaborate with a certain set of students. Okay. Now for this we need to have a planning checklist. Okay. Normally when you're doing the project, obviously start off is you have to start off with the planning checklist. So what are we going to create? You have to make sure that you have the proper deadlines. You have to make sure that you identify the members of the group, as well as you have to create a work schedule. Okay. So once all these are done, you will be actually creating something like a work schedule. So this is what you see here. Right? So technically, the reason you guys are learning this is how we really do projects in the industry as well. Okay, so we basically get together, we create a work schedule, we create a team, and then from there onwards we start building the content. Okay, so now we have a work schedule. So once the work schedule is done, then we can basically jump into the production of the document. So perfect. So there's the mark, and then let's jump in. Okay, so we talk about a document layout. So the document layout is technically this has to be something like a nice, let's say, kind of like a magazine type of a layout where you will have pages, margins, and columns. So these are all part of the practicals. Okay, Kemit, did you do the practicals this set?
Sir, in document layouts, I correctly don't know, sir, because those day I did went, sir. But my friends told, sir, they did only those things that I said, sir, but they didn't do these things, sir. They only went those newsletters.
Newsletters. Ah, okay. So after that, they jump into the main document. Sorry, the other other unit itself.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Super. So, yeah, we can jump into this, but we have one important point which you have to highlight and know. So, which is known as distributing digital documents. Okay. So here, digital distribution. Digital distribution means we have to come up with something where how we share, sorry, come up with a flow on how to share details with other people. Okay, so obviously emails was basically the first invention where we were able to share content, and what we do is we just take an email, attach the content, and sorry, we
We
send it
write
to
the email and send it to the
we
sender.
yes, exactly, we write it and we send it, right? You know, a fun fact, if you go back almost about 20 years, we had we didn't had all these social media platforms, so all this information was actually shared through emails. අපි කන්නඩේ mail එකක් ආවම we share the email. So those days we used to check email all the time because all these funny images, memes, this whole culture about memes was actually invented about 20 years ago, and we shared it through emails because we didn't had phones, smartphones weren't there, so everything was
Yeah.
sent through emails. අපි අරවා
So entertainment also was like email.
we didn't had videos back then, no? So it's like 90% images, pictures.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird for you guys now, but those days that was the only entertainment we had. Okay, yeah, obviously that's almost 20, that's almost 20 20 years ago, 20 to 22 years ago. Okay. Super. So yeah, so the digital distribution, so you guys know the idea, and when you are sharing something online through an email, or let's say WhatsApp, or any other type of medium, you need to make sure that you have to compress it as well. So file compression is also one specific important point. So this helps you to reduce the file size, as well as this will make sure that that the file which is being sent will be sent fast and as with a small small size. Example is now if I send a huge file to Kemith right now, it will take a long time for him to download it, right? But if I send a small file to you, it will take a couple of minutes and you will be able to download it and use, right? So that's the whole idea behind this file sizes. So file compression. Okay. So please do highlight this point. So it says file compression. The process of file compression reduces data size of a file or a folder of files into a compressed file format.
That's it.
Okay, nice, perfect. Okay, so yes, then we can actually jump into the unit 3. So unit 3, connectivity and internet. Okay, so now are you at this point at school?
No, sir, we are at just the other unit 4.
Unit 4.
Binary protocol.
Okay. Perfect. Let's go by the order, but we'll be able to finish this soon. So we'll take it a bit fast so that we can be on sync with the school itself. No? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Super. So Siddhamdi, I hope you are on track as well. So try to get a print of the book if it is possible, or you can actually open it on your laptop.
Okay.
All good. Super. Okay, so interesting points, connectivity and the internet. Okay, so we are all connected, and even this particular call is happening because of the internet, and now the technology has been like drastically improved, where now you guys literally can see a high quality video stream of everyone at the same time, and we have the option of having real time communication, right? Okay, so going for this one, okay, 1 second.
Sir, even our father told us when those undersea cables were not in Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
and when few satellites were there, when they like talk to a person from Sri Lanka from Sri Lanka to another country, it takes like 7 seconds to get the reply.
Yes. Yeah.
Almost.
Almost. Because it takes a long time for the signal to start from one point and to go to the other location. Because technically, like, since it's light is instant, no? But
Yes.
when it comes to radio waves, that is technically in a way a wave, right? That goes like this. Okay, so depending on whatever the the conditions you have, it can be weather conditions, it can be different types of like what do you call it, there can be different obstacles when that connection is going through, and depending on all these things, that connection can disrupt or get disturbed. Hey, way, when you're transmitting it, just think if a plane flies over, then again that transmission has to go through the plane.
Then it's like it's going again, so you could hear yourself talking.
Yeah, no, like that would basically break. So then you will have to again send that data set.
Hello. So,
Yeah. Okay, so now here we learn about few points. Okay, so connectivity, wired and wireless networks. So primarily we learn about few keywords. So I'll directly jump into the module and we can see what are the points. Okay, so first objective or first thing which we need to go through is connecting to the internet using a router. Okay, so we consume the internet or we connect to the internet through your home router, right? So What type of router do you have? Is it
I have a dialog 4G router.
Dialog 4G? Okay. What about Situndi? What is your router?
Mobitel.
Mobitel. Okay. Mobitel is SLT Mobitel routers.
Yes.
Oh, okay. 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 Both of you don't have fiber connections.
No, sir, 5 is like useless, like connecting up to here, sir, but we just took this home, sir, like we didn't make this home, we just buyed it.
Ah, you bought
So
it.
our father told like it is like it would take like more time and those on to like connect those
Ah,
wires
yes,
and we
yes, yes,
told
yes,
like
yes.
no need.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Unless you have bought it inside a very like an area which already has that connection, it's going to take a long time for you to basically get the connection back. Okay,
And
perfect.
so the dial-up tower is just there.
Ah, okay. Then it's quite okay now. So the
Yeah.
speeds are okay then. That's the thing. That's the thing. So perfect. So now to connect, obviously we need to have the right router. Now and nowadays the new routers they actually give you two options. So one is they actually give you an option to plug in a network cable. Okay, so we will be talking about network cables in a while. So you have two options. One is to connect through the network cable and the other one is to connect through the Wi-Fi. Okay, so you have to highlight 2 points. One is this one, to access the internet. So you will obviously get questions asking how do you access the internet or what type of a device you need to access the internet. Okay, so in that case the answer would be to access the internet from home, school, or any place of work. The device, your device, will need to connect to a network router. So when you're writing this, you can write it according to any specific means. You can say that how I connect. In order to connect to the internet, we need to have a network router. Okay, simple as that. And then there are two different types of routers. Okay, or sorry, connections. So here, what we will do is, so we have wired and wireless. Okay, so please do highlight these two parts as well. So the wired is a physical cable connects the device to the router, and the cable can be either copper wire or fiber optic cables. When මේ part එක highlight කරනවා, or you can write it down. So anybody who is watching the video, if you don't have the book, please do write this down. No? These are very important keywords. Yeah. So wired and wireless. What is wired and what is wireless? So wired is a physical cable connecting the device to the router, and wireless means electromagnetic radio waves transmitting data between the devices. So it says a central device, usually the router, broadcasts a signal from any compatible device which can connect to it and use to share the data. Kevin, did you highlight it?
Yes, I highlighted and read it.
Okay. Certainly you can write it down. Otherwise, if you are planning to take a printout of the book, then again take the print, go through the video, then you can highlight it back again. Both options are there. It's up to you. So let me clear the screen.
So it's easy if we highlight because like most probably when we are going to an exam, we refer the textbook.
Exactly, that's the thing. That is the that is the main that is the main point. Hi. Shall I continue?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so those two are the primary points. Okay, so now we talk about advantages and disadvantages of wireless connections. So you do always get a question with asking what are the advantages and disadvantages of wireless. That's a stapled question. Most of the time you're going to get this through your exams. So let's talk with the disadvantages first, since we always start with the with the disadvantages, then it's easy to jump to the advantages. So disadvantages means when it comes to wireless networks, thick walls and other electrical devices can cause interference. Okay, so which technically weaknesses the strength. So you can actually highlight this part: thick walls and other electrical devices can cause interference. Okay, that is one primary important point. So example, that's why now, do you have Wi-Fi connection throughout your home, or is it only working at a certain area?
Our Wi-Fi can be accessed until say like if we go until to our garden, and after we are going after from the gate,
Uh,
and after
Still
like
works.
100 minutes. Oh,
Okay, okay. But if you live in a very, like let's say a congested area which has like couple of houses right next to each other, then it won't travel that far. Because
the problem is the nearby houses. Everybody are using fiber cables,
okay. Oh,
so
no,
it's
so
no problem for us.
yeah, but if everybody is using fiber, then it will be quite easy for you guys to get it. If somebody
But
else is using it.
once I like in those other like sort of Wi-Fi's,
Uh,
sometimes when we are like off with Wi-Fi,
mm.
I know where to like get their Wi-Fi to my laptop with like with a code. I'm not
Yeah.
going to tell it, but
Yeah.
I have done it.
Yes. Okay. What about Sitanti? Have you hacked anyone's Wi-Fi?
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear the question.
Oh yeah, yeah. So what I asked was like, have you used someone else's Wi-Fi? එහාගේ විදියක Wi-Fi එක පාවිච්චි කරලා නැහැ නේද?
No, one day when I was just randomly like putting random passwords in the, we can go mobile hotspot and there,
Yes.
and suddenly it connected. And when I said to my mom, she doesn't believe it, but for some time I actually went through there.
Went through it.
Then
Yeah, yeah.
The problem
It can
is
work.
that code doesn't appear to the even to the bill.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, yeah. You
We can
can.
like put it in the command prompt, and we
Yeah.
have to like
Yeah.
that
Yeah, yeah.
type
Yes.
that, and after that
Yeah.
the name of that thing,
Yeah.
and after that
Yes.
send the code.
I know.
We give
Yeah,
the
yeah.
passwords and
Yes, yes, yeah. Because most of the time, so what happens is most of the time these passwords are set by the SLT people itself, no? So most of the passwords are like 1 2 3 4 password. And what Situmji told was also true, because sometimes like uh, what do you call it, this mobile hotspots, if you have not if you haven't changed the password, it's usually 1234 or abcd or 123456 or triple one, sorry, 6 1s or 8, yeah, 6 1s or something like that. So yes, if you try to play around with it, you should be able to get access. Okay, So that's also a problem. Huh? So now then the second one is wireless signals have a limited range. So users basically need to stay near the wireless router in order to access it because you can't go out of the range, no. And third point, the one we just discussed. So hackers can try to access wireless networks remotely and they might be able to manipulate it. Okay. So now what we talked was about getting their password and getting into the virus, no? But there are different hacking mechanisms where you can actually use specific devices to, we call it spy or spoof. You can spoof on someone's network and try to understand what type of data they are sending. So that type of hacking also is practically can be done. You need to have the
I did
devices.
it for, so I did it for like fun, not for use.
I know. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So that's what I always say. So white hat hacking is perfectly fine, na? As long as you
Yeah.
don't, as long as you do it 100% educational purpose. Plus, if you are doing it to help somebody or try to show someone's vulnerabilities or issues which they have, then it's perfectly fine. 100% fine.
So then I didn't used to be honest, and I just cut it off now. I really need that way, and I know the way, and I keep it in my mind, but not doing it.
Okay.
It could be like using them, sting by them's money.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Okay. So, yes, then that's the third point. And the fourth point is network speeds are generally slow. Okay. Because Wi Fi, obviously, when it comes to large files and all, Wi Fi will obviously slow it down because Wi Fi data transfer rate is anyway slow. So, example, if you have a SLT fiber connection, that fiber connection can go up to about 300 megabits per second. But if you get that connection and plug it into a Wi-Fi router, the maximum you can get out of Wi-Fi is about 40. Okay, so from a 300 connection, you are going to get 30 to 40. So you basically get one tenth of the speed, actual speed, where you can get if you use a high-end connection. Okay, so
Sir,
that should, yes,
sir, like ISP is connected by a router, right, sir?
correct, exactly,
It has
exactly.
a, if we router has a sort of an receiving sort of like it receives and the amount of thing that it could be stored, no, sir? So, sir, can't we do something like this, sir?
Yep.
If we programmed it with a specific antenna, like it could like go connectly like straight away to the tower and program it with like for like 100 bits or something, and if we connect it straight away to our laptop,
Yeah.
could we like get 100 bits correctly to our laptop?
You can. What you said is, what you just asked me, yes, 100% you can, but there are specific devices for that. So there are devices which will support which supports long distance Wi-Fi. So it's like huge antenna, something like this. Technically, where you can transfer data about through couple of kilometers,
Yes.
high speed
So
data.
can't we do it with like those satellite discs in our homes or roofs? Like we could like turn it for other side and these sides
May
by tuning it for those.
මෙහෙමනේ වැඩේ. Now when it comes to satellites, it takes some time to go there and come back. So if you take dialogue satellite TV is there, no? Right? So is the connection very clear? You don't get a high quality connection. If you compare it with a SLT PO high HD connection where you have this HD cable which comes through 5
So
octaves.
we have HD.
Yeah, but then again, if you compare that with the PEO TV HD, there's a massive difference. There's a
So the pure TV one is better than dialogue?
wow, it's like how many times? About 10 times, 10 to 20 times better.
So
So
I thought pure TV is Sri Lankan. No, I thought like pure TV is like not good as that.
no, actually POTV is better than dialogue because the reason is POTV we connect through fiber optics. That's the thing.
Oh.
So that is the other thing is basically getting connected through satellite networks. So the connection technically takes a bit of time because the connection has to go up and come back and again come here.
So
That's
it's easy for me, sir, because the tower is just right there.
you mean for Wi-Fi, not for
Yeah,
yeah Wi-Fi yes, but for
TV.
TV
No.
satellite TV that's something totally different. That's something
So
totally
one
different.
of our like relatives, cousins,
Ah,
whose father, he took those or disc or something, and he did something like that and this and those, and he just kept a specific part of like like a long one
mm,
and a little
mm,
bit thick one,
mm,
and he told like just plug it in and those. And
mhm.
after like 1 minute, there was like the whole every channel is in his TV,
Yeah.
like even every channel, and I told should
Mm,
we pay or something,
mm.
and he told we literally have to and satellite.
Yes, yes. You basically get connected to a satellite directly, and that is it. After that, you get the details. Okay, okay, වැඩ ගන්න මෙහෙමනේ. Okay, okay, since you asked asked me, I'll tell you also how it works is so that signal is technically broadcast freely. So the satellites are broadcasting the signal. But the thing is, when you capture the signal, you can actually capture it. Huh? Now, let's say both of us, all three of us get together and build a satellite receiver. We can actually buy the stuff, and we can build the satellite receiver, and the receiver will receive it. But the problem is decoding. So whatever the data comes in is encoded. Huh? Okay, in your dialogue TV, just go and check. They might have a card inserted into it. දැකලා dialogue TV එකේ පොඩි card එකක් ගහලා තියෙනවා.
We are having that HDMI thing, sir.
No, no, no,
It
no,
is
no,
not
no,
having that.
no, no. I mean not the so dialogue TV. You have that small devices
Oh
there.
yes,
No?
that's what, sir.
Yeah, in that device, just check like after the class, go and check. So just check if there is some sort of a card is there. Okay, so you have something like a small what we call this bank cards are there, banking cards, something like a
Yes,
bank
sir.
card. You basically push it in. Okay, so what it does is that is the one which will decode the signal.
That small card.
Small card. දැකලා තියෙනවනේ? Small card is
That,
there, right?
yeah, sir, but not in this one, sir.
Ah.
This one doesn't have any card, sir. But in that AT or something, we had all the one. In
Ah.
that thing, sir, we had a card, sir.
Exactly.
It was like
Yes.
having pictures and like sports and those.
Exactly,
And I
yes.
just took it and,
That
like
that
it's
had a
one
small
to
chip
50
also,
volts.
right?
Yes, sir, right.
A small chip also has to be there. So it's almost similar to a bank ATM card. You put it in, and in that chip has the decoding algorithm or the decoding code. So then it can decode whatever the signal which comes down. That's it.
So, sir, computer doesn't have it.
No,
Yes.
that decoder, that device needs to have the key. So what our people do is they find a dish, and you can buy decoders off the market. Decoders are there, and you get that card from some company. So that card is the one you pay the rent for.
Sir, how will we have to pay something?
Yeah, so now your uncle, he might have got a card from some place, and he has used it. That's it. So if you use a foreign card, you have the chance of watching all the foreign channels.
So even he has an original walkie-talkie. That means
Uh-huh.
original walkie-talkie
Okay.
that is with a wire to his roof. And I asked, "What is this from my cousin?"
Uh,
And he told, can I like just say hello and for
uh,
fun?" And I went to like take it. He was so hurried and tell, "No, no, no, that's connecting throughout the world."
yeah, that's true. And like if you don't do it without a proper license, you can go to jail also. Be careful.
Oh.
Because radio signals are extremely what do you call it? Um, it's regulated. There are regulations which will stop people from like playing doing jokes online. They don't allow you to do anything funny, so every communication must be uh, must be sent through a regulated channel. Where I'll show you guys sometime. I do have all this stuff with me. So we'll have to we'll go through it sometime back. Okay, so like let's quickly jump through the advantages. So yeah, we have the advantages. Yes, wireless. Yes, it's wireless. So obviously no physical wires needed, right? So please do highlight these points, huh? Cutie points here. So advantages, you don't need any physical wires, right? So users can connect from any location within the broadcasted area. Broadcast area. That's one of the keywords. Broadcast area. So if you go out of the area, then you won't be able to access it. Sorry. Sorry. If you are in that area, then you can access. Then users can connect from a comfortable position because you don't have to connect a wire. Now let's say now I'm basically controlling this cursor from my mobile because my mobile is connected to the Wi-Fi and the laptop is also connected to the Wi-Fi. So through the Wi-Fi, when I move the finger, automatically the cursor gets moved, right? Now just think if I had a wire connected to this, then that would be a real pain.
Yes,
Real
sir.
problem. So I won't be able to walk. I'll have to stick in one place and it will be a long wire. All these problems are there. So Wi-Fi
But
based.
these days, those VR recorders.
Yeah.
If sir, we are having a Samsung thing, sir, like if we are having a Samsung sort of thing, if we are having that thing, the Samsung is telling if you move, you could move everything and those things.
Yes.
Samsung ring phone.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I of course want to buy a VR headset, but it's too expensive. Still, no, still like there is no purpose to buy it. That's why. Otherwise, I would have bought.
Sir,
bought
is
one.
it like, sir, is it like,
It is expensive.
oh, I thought my brother was in the window and who was moving.
Yeah, it is expensive, obviously, yes. Okay, so yeah, so let's just quickly jump through. So then access can be controlled by passwords, yes, obviously, because when we are connecting to it, there will be password authentication, and more users or devices can be added without any need of purchasing additional cables. Because if your machine is connected through a cable, then it's going to be a bit of a problem, right? So, Situm, what is, are you using a phone or a tablet or a laptop?
I'm using a tablet.
You're using a tablet, okay. So that is connected through Wi-Fi, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that's how it's going to work. Okay. Now we talk about a quick important point. So yes. So highlighting wise, these are also some points which can be highlighted. Right? Okay. Then we jump into wireless networks and encryption. When it comes to it's wireless networks and encryption. Okay. So what is encryption and why we need this thing in the systems? Okay, so let's jump in and see. Okay, So now, this is what we just discussed few minutes ago, how you can guess and enter a password. So how this works is, now wireless networks, they do have a method of encrypting the signal. Okay. So why do we need to encrypt? It's basically, um, otherwise anybody can get access to your network, right? So when this encryption is added, that means when you want to connect to a Wi-Fi, you need to enter the password, right? So wireless networks and encryption. So why do we need encryption? So the question would be, why do we need encryption, or why encryption is there? And the answer would be this one: to prevent unauthorized users from connecting to a wireless network. Okay. So to add a little more on top of it, it says the signal is encrypted. This means that users need a password to connect and share the data. Okay. So the Wi-Fi network password is either set by the ISP, or it can be specified by the user. So you guys have changed your passwords. Situndi, have you changed the password, or are you using the original password which came on the router?
Original one, sir.
Original one. ඉතින් බෑනේ කරන්න. ඉතින් that's the same password which will be used on multiple routers. So someone can guess. Someone can
Sir,
guess.
our password is impossible to even type, sir.
Who changed it? Like, is it a custom password?
No, sir, like we had a router, sir. At first, sir, it was like when I was like so old, sir, it was like not speed, though it was like 4G, but it only connected 3G.
Okay.
And sir, when we were like, we changed that router into another router.
Okay.
They give the same, same password, no, sir?
Yeah.
And sir, after over, like we got the last router, and they like, we told like this was like too simple, so can we change the password?
Okay.
And they gave us a super hard password that nobody can guess it.
You know, you guys can change the password of the router, right?
Yeah, sir. But
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
not good.
So it's quite easy now. Usually, all routers, they do have a standard system running on the router. Okay, so all you need to do is just go to 192.168.1.1. So that's the domain. So if you open a web browser, and if you type 192.168.1.1, you will get the router's management page. Okay. So from the router management page, it will ask you for a username and a password. Right? Now this is where the tricky thing happens. Now this username and password, Kevin, do you have the router with you by any chance? Is it?
Yes, sir, it's in here, just here.
Yeah. Can you look at the under the router? Can you check if there is a password?
Right, sir. I'm saying, yeah, sir. It's there. It's with like sort of D equal.
Yeah, you should have a username and a password. Okay, so that is in an ideal situation, you should have two passwords and one username. Okay, so the username and the password is to access your router's web panel, and you will have another password as the router's password. Okay, so what happens is, you can enter that router's username and password, that particular web panel username and password, and you can log into the panel, and then there you can change the password. That's how you do it. Yes.
But sir, it's illegal, right?
No. It's your router, no. You can change the password. You're the owner of the router.
Then no problem. Sir, when we are like making those Wi-Fi, sir,
Yeah.
they are like putting sort of a thing in the roof. What is that?
No idea. Is it a extender? Wi-Fi extender?
No, so like when we are like it's plugged into something, sort of like this and like sort of
Like a
like an
small, like a small antenna, right?
yeah, sir.
Yes, yeah. That is actually something which Dialog does because that will boost the connection. That will boost the connection and it will make sure that the connection is stable. That's
Sir,
it.
our thing specialty is sir, when power is gone off,
Yeah.
sir, this thing is like I don't know whether it's the talent of my lab or the Wi-Fi. However, sir, like after 5 minutes the Wi-Fi goes.
Yeah, that's because the Wi-Fi is connected to the power, so you'll have to add a battery backup to the Wi-Fi. Otherwise, you won't
No,
be
sir,
able.
when the power goes off,
Yeah.
it stays. My Wi-Fi stays for like 5 minutes, and after that, it goes off.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to, sorry, if you want to
It's a,
keep it for a long time, you can actually add a battery backup, and you
oh
can
yeah,
extend it. Okay.
yeah, sir. Buy an adapter.
Yes, exactly. You can buy an adapter and extend it. Okay, so jumping into this one. So yes, wireless networks and encryption. So now you know how to set the password and how this works, right? So there are two ways of setting up passwords. One, primary way is basically having the make it we talk about only one way. Okay, so we have the password, so we have it set up, and then that's it. But at the other way around, there's another way where you can actually set up in your routers. You might see there's a small button, WPS කියලා button එකක් ඇති. හරි? So that's another authentication method. So when you enable the WPS authentication, even if you have the password, you still need to press that button. So when you're connecting to the router, you need to go and press that button and then allow. Okay, so that will,
Oh, so sir, nobody can change your password.
even if somebody gets access to your password, still he has to be in that range to come and press the button and give you access.
So that's so impossible, sir, to
Yes,
change it.
yeah. So in my case, my home router, the password is just password. Password is password, but the thing is, no one can use it because I have the WPS enabled. So you put the password and login, and then you go there, you have to press the button and authenticate. Then only that will let you go in.
So sir, somebody can connect your password, sir.
Yeah, but then again, without pressing the button on the router, it won't allow you to connect.
I mean, sir, like somebody can use your network.
No, technically, no. They can try to log in, and once you log in, you have to manually press that button in the router. Press the WPS button, then only it will allow you to log into the system.
Then, sir, how did I did that code and get that thing?
අපි ඒක වෙනම කතා කරමු. let's not talk about that here. If you want, we'll do another session and we'll talk about how to get into these stuff. Okay, so perfect. So we learned about the Wi-Fi encryption part as well. So in some when it comes to real world advice, so yes, wireless technology and Wi-Fi means the same thing. So Wi-Fi stands for, please do highlight this, sir. So Wi-Fi means wireless fidelity. Okay, Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity, and it's the trademark or the trade name of the Wi-Fi alliance. Okay, so this is basically, now when it comes to wireless devices, this Wi-Fi alliance logo must be visible because that is the organization which connects or manages these Wi-Fi protocols and systems. Okay, so we don't have to go into that depth, but just keep in mind there's a certain management body. Wow, when we were talking about privacy policies and all, I said that there are certain governing bodies who basically manages or governs these policies. Likewise,
Oh yeah, sir. Those crawlers.
yeah, as well as I said, there are like open licenses and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, the royalty free and those things.
Exactly. So likewise, we have different agencies, like different alliances, which will manage this as well. Okay, so that's the that's the way it usually works. Okay, sorry. Then we talked about Wi-Fi. Then we talk about mobile internet access. Mobile internet, quite straightforward. We all know now. Technically, most of the devices are connected through mobile internet, and that's the standard way we connect, right? So, Wi-Fi versus mobile network connectivity. Okay. So now, as we discussed before as well, so we know that the internet is basically connected through the router, and we know that the entire connection system and the internet is based on undersea cables, right? And on top of this, we have mobile networks, which will basically handle differ which works in a similar pattern but handles a different runs on a different system. Okay, so example is, if you take a look at this one, mobile generations. Okay, so this is what we had in 1980s. Okay, ඒක හරි අපි ඉස්සර සිංහලෙන් කියනවා ගඩොල් බාග ෆෝන් එකක් කියලා. ගඩොල්
Sir, our
කැට්
father was born in that year.
1980s. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
sir.
that's the, so then we might be in the same age. I was also was born in 1980s. Okay, so you mean your father was born in 1980?
Yeah, sir. He born in around 1980.
Okay. I was born in 1987, so yes. So
Those days, Sri Lanka didn't have those phones like much.
no,
Only the superior people had those things, right?
no, still no. I mean, still no. I can still remember. I went with my father, um, back in 1993 or 1994, and we went to a those days there was this company called Celltel, Celltel,
Self-care.
Celltel. ඉතින් ඉස්සර මොබයිල් ෆෝන්ස් වලට මිනිස්සු කිව්වේ Celltel කියලා. Mobile phones වලට මිනිස්සු කිව්වේ Celltel කියලා because Celltel was the carrier who basically bought mobile phones to Sri Lanka and gave the signals, gave the systems. So dialogue and all, they came after. Api me, so like when you get like, okay, so there are common brand names now, something like Coca-Cola. We had Celtel. So I still can remember my father bought one of these. It was huge. It was like this, and it worked with 4 pentorch batteries. Chutty battery හතරක් දාන්න ඒක. toy car එකක් වගේ. You just need to remove the back cover and you have to put 4 batteries, and and then it starts to work.
That's funny.
Yeah. That was in 1990s in Sri Lanka. Okay, so but in other countries that came out in 1980s, and then in 1990s we got the first typical standard mobile phone, which had a display, which had a nice display, plus which was able to send and receive text messages. Okay, that was the first generation era of where we sent messages. So I haven't used a phone by that time because still I'm schooling back then, so I got my first phone in 2000 and yeah, in 2001, 2001 or 2002, I think. So by that time, we had high-end phones which can browse the internet also. But for us, Sri Lanka, I think, anyway, we are like about 10 years behind the actual. So for us, back in 2000s only, we got this type of phones, 2G phones. And those days when you have a phone and like if you are schooling and if you have a phone at school, then wah tamai poro. Because yeah, I think nobody has phones. Like nobody even has seen a phone. I can remember the first time when somebody bought a color phone to school. It was so magic for everybody. Yeah.
So guys can bring phones for your school. Our school is like not allowing any
Yeah.
single, even a fancy pen.
I think many those days nobody had phones. Even teachers didn't had phones. Nobody has seen phones. So for them it was just something. These rules were not invented back then because these devices weren't there. Now obviously the rules has to be there because of the devices. Okay, so then that's the third generation. Okay, so the third generation introduced web browsing, as well as this is where we actually got the typical fast connections, 3G connection. I think in Sri Lanka still most of the points still there are people who use 3G. So still we
Yeah,
haven't.
sir.
Yeah, still we haven't got
That
out of
stands
3G.
of 20J or something.
Our partner phones, button phones,
Yeah.
still they work on
Sir,
3G.
our mother had it when she was like not in 2000s. She had it when she was like in 2004 or something. This much phone, and it's still in our old home, and it's broken into pieces by our brother. Like he's crashing that.
Okay. Okay. So they'll that's good. But then again, having one of those phones handy will be kind of good because sometimes you tend to sorry, those phones tend to work. I'll I'll tell you a nice story. Have you been to Horton Plains? Horton Plains.
Oh yeah, so that alien sighting thing.
Nee, Horton Plains are newer earlier.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's having the alien sighting.
Yes. Very excited. Have you been to the world's end? No.
Oh yeah, sir. I
World's
have
end.
been. Like, we have to like lean
Ah,
down to it.
Lahari. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sidhundi, have you been to world's end?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So, World's End is in Hatton, and there you have to walk a long way through the Horton Plains in
7
order to fit that.
kilometers.
Something around there. So, the fun thing happened was we actually went on a trip with all my friends and all, and something happened and we got late to go to Horton Plains, and ultimately we had to take a call and tell the hotel that we are getting late. And I had an iPhone, and most of them had iPhones and all the high end Samsung and Apple devices. Nothing worked. No device, nothing worked because these are actually using 4G connections. අර Hatton වල 4G නෑ. So Hatton doesn't have 4G, so no signal, nothing, zero connectivity. Then ideally, the person there was one of my friends who actually has a phone shop, and he knows this. He owns a phone shop. He knows this, so because of this reason, he has an iPhone. At the same time, he is having this small button phone. Okay, he had that button phone, and that thing worked.
Sir, but in Tesla phones, sir, it doesn't happen. But Elon Musk said that if you even go to the middle of the forest of Amazon, you could even connect it to the whole world because it's
Yes.
having it's straight away connecting to the satellites of
Correct.
Starlink.
Yes.
That
hopefully
something.
that is something. But එදා නම් ගිහිල්ලා හොඳටම පල්ලුණා මහ ලොකු iPhone connection we had that problem. So that's why I said having an old phone is still handy up to a certain extent. Okay, so that is so we got the 4G in 2010s, and then 2020s we got the 5G connection, which is the latest technology which we currently use right now. Okay, so they do have high end that supports high data speeds, plus with 4G. Compared to 4G, it's much more faster, and at the same time, it opened up different different avenues of products such as gaming, online gaming, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is when we actually got the. Oops, sorry.
Sir, we got 5G in the January 1st. Actually, dialogue like from a drone thing, they like displayed we got 5G connections.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. So dialogue, I am also using 5G, but 5G isn't still. It's not fully available. Still, it's
Sir, what is this phones like iPhone 16 or something? Is it?
This is a 15 Pro Max. I didn't buy the 16 yet.
Then sir, then it could be 5G.
Yes. Yeah, this works perfectly. So I live in Kaluboville, so there is a Spar supermarket close by, and at that area, Dialog had fixed a 5G antenna. So when I am at the supermarket, this goes up to close to about 900 megabytes per second. That's about.
So it's like blinking speed.
You can download a gigabyte file within couple of seconds. 1 GB in couple of seconds.
You could download Call of Duty in like 1 minute.
Call of Duty in around 1 minute. Yeah. You just press download and it will be like this. But the data, so the data cost is there. Data is not free, no. So like your bill will be also like Zoom. That's the thing. Okay, so let's go through the advantages and disadvantages. Then we can actually we can call it a day. So perfect. So let's start from the advantages this time. So advantages of 5G. Okay, please do highlight this part. Advantages and disadvantages of faster mobile internet. So primarily advantages: streaming and gaming. That is, so apps such as gaming, streaming, maps, emails can be used on the move. So obviously that's the advantage of mobile internet, not 5G. This is the advantage of having internet on your mobile, or having internet while you're moving to someplace. Okay, then some users who have a mobile internet data contract may not need a home broadband connection. So simple as both of you, right? So both of you are using routers now. So that means technically you do not need a physical connection to your home, right? You can come up with something. Sorry, you can take that router and walk anywhere, go any place, and get it connected, right? Then mobile internet connections can be shared with other devices such as a laptop, or by creating a mobile hotspot. This thing, right? So you can immediately connect to your Wi-Fi device, or you can do something like this. Now, have you seen these small dongles or dongles kila kiyane shooting?
Oh yes, our mother used it when she was using the Pentium 3 computer.
Okay, yeah. Dongles, so the dongle will either you have to plug in the dongle, or the dongle will allow you to connect to a hotspot. So a hotspot will be created, and you will be able to connect to the hotspot. That's how the dongle works. And then obviously last point is mobile. Mobile video conferencing is also now possible with the 4G and 5G mobile devices, because now you can actually have a video and discuss with somebody online using this. Okay, now perfect. Those are the advantages. Remember the advantages, huh? You get questions for this. Okay, so and then disadvantages similarly. Battery life. This is the most critical problem. So when your phone is actually using the internet, it literally needs to keep on transmitting data, right? It connects to the radio signals, it connects to whatever the specific broadcasting antenna or the receiving antenna, and it will continuously keep on transmitting data back and forth, which ultimately ends up eating up your battery. So, then the second point is mobile internet. So, mobile internet data contracts can be expensive. Can නෙමෙයි. It is expensive. So, for them it can be, I mean, this is something which comes from UK. There it can be, but for us, yes, it is expensive. So, going over the monthly data limit can have unusual extra costs. Okay, and then the fourth item is many people change their phones every year. So to keep up with the constant improvements in the smartphone technology, that is also again expensive, because that creates a huge number of waste, and at the same time in order to stay up with the technology, that is not there, the monkey and a point. So just to stay up with the technology, you have to change your device also. So that is also again expensive. Now just think, yeah, so like once you get the 5G system, 4G doesn't work, no? So then you'll have to move to a 5G connection, 5G device.
So sir, my computer is an Intel Core i3,
Okay.
and so it's 11 Windows. Can it connect to 5G?
It has nothing to do with 5G. 5G means, okay, so think about this in a different way. Just think this as in a think this compare this into getting some sound waves. Think that you have a small speaker, a medium-sized speaker, and let's say you have 5 speakers like this, one small and a bigger one, and it becomes bigger. But think, all these 5 speakers send sound, but you can't hear it. So in order to hear the sound, you need to, let's say you need to wear a specific microphone. Okay, so that is the system which works as 5G. So first generation, the sound was very low, so you need to have a specific microphone to hear that. That's why they had big antennas, because the frequency was very, very fine. Then 2G, the speaker was a little bit large, so they had small antennas. Make antennas. Cool.
So those satellite phones are similar to those, right?
Satellite phones are similar to this. So we had small, we had small antennas. Then when 3G, 4G, 5G came out, the antenna strength changes and the microphone also gets changed, right? So how it works is, when you call it as 5G, that requires a specific receiver to receive the 5G signal. So it doesn't have to do anything with your laptop, but you need a 5G router. So now what you have is a 4G router. No? Even I think Sitandi is using a 4G router, but you need to have a 5G router in order to access it. That's how it works. So that's the thing. And then that's the last point. So you guys basically pressure your parents to buy you the latest device. Because when something new comes out, you will ask your parents to actually purchase it and buy the device. So which will again will be expensive, right? Will somebody have to spend money on that now? So that's how it works, and we call it a day. So next week we'll jump into wired connections and let's go through it as fast as possible so that we can get parallel with the sorry, with your school. Okay, so that would be the point. And yeah, so Siddhamji, about your textbook, so try to find the textbook and let's do a comparison and see. If you find it, just send me a picture as well, then I can find out how far this goes in line. Because ideally schools should follow this, like Lyceum and all the schools, they follow the Inspire Computing book, but there are some variants as well. So let's try to sort it out within the coming days. Okay, but until then you can use the soft copy which I sent. Perfect.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Hari? Okay, so if you guys have any questions, please send a message on WhatsApp. Huh? I'll be more than glad to help you all out. Okay, perfect then. Then catch you next week. Alright?
Okay, sir.
See you.
Thank you,
See-
sir. Have a
Okay.
nice day,
See,
sir.
yes.
Bye,
you too.
sir.
Have a nice weekend. See you. Bye. Bye.